Sir Jim Ratcliffe has confirmed again that he wants to buy Manchester United, and he is already looking at the board and the backroom staff to help take Manchester United from their current position, scrambling behind the likes of Manchester City and Liverpool back to the very pinnacle of the English, European, and world game. A price has reportedly been set around the £4 billion mark to buy the football club. Sir Jim Ratcliffe himself has a valuation of around 12 million US dollars, so certainly has the funds available, but more than likely would look to put a consortium of investors together to buy Manchester United. He does want to buy the club. He is pushing from behind the scenes, and it's now started to be reported by a number of credible sources that an official bid could be imminent, with the likes of Luis Campos being lined up to take over as a sporting director. I want your thoughts and I want your feelings. But finally, we could be about to see the beginning of the end of the Glazers. Just over 1 month ago, a number of British outlets reported on the confirmation from Sir Jim Ratcliffe that he wants to buy Manchester United. The Times, The Guardian, the Daily Mail, the Manchester Evening News, and many, many more outlets reacted to a spokesperson on behalf of Sir Jim confirming that he wants to buy Manchester United. Britain's richest man wants to invest in the biggest club in the country. Of course, if the club was up for sale, was always the towing party line. And those stories came about, as I say, just over a month ago. Things have gone a little bit quiet in that meantime. Manchester United have won more games. The Glazer out campaign hasn't disappeared, but it is, of course, quietened as Manchester United win more football matches. But true Manchester United fans remain strong, continually, day by day, talking about the Glazers, speaking about the improvements needed at the club, tempering fans' excitement over winning games and making sure that we're continuing to focus on the one true, consistent, and only real problem that Manchester United have, and that's the running and ownership of this club. Now, yesterday, confirmed by the brilliant Le Parisien, they state that Sir Jim Ratcliffe is not hiding his desire to buy Man United, whose sale price has been set around $4 billion by the Glazer family. This would suggest and confirm a number of other kind of mooted reports from some journalists that haven't been quite prepared yet to go the full hog. But in private conversations with myself, they have told me that they've been informed that the Glazers are seriously considering selling. They don't believe that the club's valuation is going to climb above where it currently stands right now. The share price is still in and around an all-time low. The only resurgence came about a month ago when the famous Elon Musk tweet went out, and suddenly there was a big spike. There are some that suggest that the amount of money that the club ended up investing in the summer was almost like a last ditch attempt, up the alley-mo, as it were, attempt to get the club back into the Champions League, to try and make the squad as attractive as possible, to ensure that they could create, hopefully, a bidding war between a number of individuals that want to buy the club. Now, Sir Jim Ratcliffe is the name that everybody knows. Of course, the Emirate of Dubai is also mentioned. And some people still think someone like an Elon Musk or a Jeff Bezos could come out the woodwork later on down the line. But the Glazers would like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 interested parties. And that's very, very likely to happen when they announce that they're happy to sell, or when an official bid from a particular party goes in. And I think that's very much what Sir Jim Ratcliffe is waiting for. What are the Glazers going to do? Are they formally going to announce this, or do we have to be the ones to almost rock the apple cart, as it were? Now, what we also know from this report is that Sir Jim Ratcliffe has been already working on who he wants to help run the football club, and appointed at PSG in just the summer as a footballing advisor. Luis Campos is one of the leading sporting directors worldwide in the game. So Jim Ratcliffe looks at him as an individual that can help get the club back to where he wants it to be, working alongside some of the current people at the club, but of course looking at a mass overhaul. And I think Man United fans would welcome this hugely. How we've been run has been the major issue. It would always be nice for Man United to gain investment from our owners, for them to take tens of hundreds of millions of their own pounds and pump it directly into the football club for use to improve stadia, improve the training grounds, maybe reduce ticket prices for fans, but of course to invest in the first team squads of both the men and the women's team. That hasn't happened in the entire Glazer ownership, moving towards 20 years, not a singular penny to either buy the club or invested into the squad from them. Everything Man United have done has been self-generated through the hard-earned money of the fans and, of course, the sponsors who sponsor the club so the fans buy their products. So, in turn, everything is generated by the fans. And that money has been very poorly spent over the past decade. We have hemorrhaged money in the wrong areas, on the wrong players, terribly long, overindulgent contracts on the wrong players. So having someone like a Luis Campos come in and steady the ship, bringing in the best technical, footballing, sporting directors to run things at board level. You bring in a brilliant commercial team, and you'll probably keep some of the individuals that are here right now at commercial level because that's one area of the club that has been successful. But you create a board who care about one thing and one thing only as its top priority, and that's making Manchester United winners on the football pitch again. And that is all we want. As Man United fans, yes, you desire the trophies and the accolades and the fame that comes with it and the adulation. But actually, when you've been run as poorly as we have for the past 17 years, being run correctly, the football being the priority, the community and the fans, both locally, nationally, and internationally, being focused upon and given the, looked at as the most important element of the club is what we want. And if Sir Jim Ratcliffe is serious and if he's really putting these bids together, it should be an exciting time for Man United. Personally, there is a part of me that feels a little bit like I can't really believe this is happening. And the fact that the man himself has come out and publicly stated that he wants to buy the football club, one of the most credible sources in France has spoken about the Ratcliffe's desire to buy the football club not being hidden. It hasn't been hidden because approaches are already being made for potential backroom staff, is a very, very positive sign indeed. A positive sign because it appears the club are starting to put a plan together to move things forward, a plan of action to get all their ducks in a row for a swift, strong bid and takeover. And as a football fan, this would be one of the happiest days of my life. Not only because Manchester United would rid themselves of parasite owners, but equally football rids itself of bad owners. And if you know me, you've known me long enough, I support every fan base at every club in the country against poor owners. And when I say poor owners, I don't mean, well, they don't spend enough. Because you're not a bad owner because you don't spend enough money. That isn't what it's about. You're a bad owner when you allow the stadium to go from being the best in the country to one of the worst conditionally. Still one of the biggest, but condition wise, it's in an absolute state. When you go from having one of the best training facilities and medical facilities in the country across all sports to being one of the worst at the elite level, when you continue to hemorrhage the club's money in the wrong direction, when you have no club plan, when you continue to give too much money to managers with no long-term future. And when I say the manager with no long-term future, I mean creating a Jose style of football, buying Jose's players, scouting for Jose's players to go in a completely another direction when Jose Mourinho eventually loses his job. And whether a manager is successful or unsuccessful at Manchester United, if the next appointee it has a completely different outlook, ideology, philosophy, playing style, and profile of individual they want at the football club, you have to rip it all up and start again. There is no continuity in that in the modern day game. It is actually impossible, in my opinion, right now to find another Sir Alex Ferguson to run your club for a quarter of a century. So what you do is you create the Fergie role becomes the club's role. You create the club become the Fergie. You run the club in a particular image with a particular philosophy, with a particular standard, and you bring in head coaches to run the club's vision. This is how the best clubs in Europe have been run for a long, long period of time. And that's what Man United need to aspire to be. So Jim Ratcliffe can help the club get there. There's no doubt about it. But fans must keep the pressure on the Glazers. Win, lose, or draw. Good performance, bad performance. Money being spent on players, money not being spent on individuals. The pressure must remain the same because for long-term success, just appointing a brilliant manager and spending money is not enough. You have to be run by the right people in the correct way. It already appears that Sir Jim Ratcliffe gets that. He's working on his backroom staff, And according to a number of credible stories, a bid is moving ever closer for him to take over as the new owner of Manchester United. I want your thoughts and I want your feelings. Do you believe this is going to happen? How does it make you feel? Not only as a Man United fan, but as a rival as well. Be honest in that comment section. But until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And Glazer out.